After the horrible devastation of these Boulder fires, a big question on everyone's mind is what is the real risk to me if I buy a home anywhere in the Denver area? Well, we're going to talk about that today, so stay tuned. Hey everyone, it is Alyson with Live South Denver, your real estate strategist and realtor for the South Denver area. So hey, even though this was in North Denver, it doesn't change the fact that there's risk everywhere across the Front Range. So we're going to talk about what it looks like to buy a home in Denver, a desert state. Let's look at this map of where the fire actually occurred. So you can see we're zoomed out. You can see all of South Denver, where I'm always talking about Highlands Ranch, Castle Rock, Parker. And then you look up in the corner and you see the red outline where the fire was. This kind of just gives you a frame of reference for distance, South Denver versus North Denver, where the fire was. Here we're zoomed in to where this fire occurred. You get to see where the highways and the major roads were and just how intensely close to towns and places, which we know by photos. And then we're zoomed into kind of open space and we see houses and you see that there's just all that is going on with where this fire was. Because it helps you to see that, this could really happen in neighborhoods that I'm looking at online and areas all around, even probably where you live now. That's kind of the shocker to this. Just doesn't happen. It hasn't happened before. And here it just did. It's really been mind-blowing. Thankfully, the support in our community has been overwhelming. The amount of money that has poured in, which is what people really need, overwhelming amounts of items and things like that. But they really need money for rent and to replace their items. They don't need all used and broken items. They need fresh and clean and baby items and formula. Anyway, it's been great here, all that they've gotten. So you can just see what that looks like. And then we pull back out and this is a different view. This is what we just looked at. We're looking South Denver to North Denver, but this is, as you can see on the header, wildfire risk public viewer. This is essentially it's a portal that anyone can go look at. It's where wildfire risk meets with the urban population. And it's color coded. Obviously, yellow is less and red is more. And this has been done by Colorado State. And they're looking at where does the interface happen? Where are we seeing the most risk of heavy population meeting up with fire risk, grasslands, trees, open space. And here is the same zoom in, that middle slide where we go toward Boulder. And here's the fire area. So it wasn't even that it was a heavy red area, but all those areas that burned, lots of open space, heavy grass area. And of course, it was all about conditions. We've had very dry winter, heavy winds. We're bringing in that snow that we had right after the fire. And all of it working together is really what made things so devastating. But you see that we're not out of fire area here in where we live. And the same is true in South Denver. This community, this is what it looked like. This looks just like my neighborhood. It looks like so many of the neighborhoods where we go and tour when you guys come out and work with me and talk about where you want to live. Look at this. This is open space and trails and trees. It's beautiful. Aside from what's going on in the background, it's heartbreaking. So this is South Denver, guys. We are looking at I-25 and 470 working across Douglas County. You can see the map looks really similar. Lots of yellow areas and orange areas, a little bit of red. And then we get into all the different towns close up. We're looking at Roxborough Park, Sterling Ranch, which is a huge community still under development with lots of new construction coming in. Highlands Ranch, Lone Tree, Parker, heavy. Look at all of that. Why? Because we do have a lot of open space, a fair amount of trees. We don't always, but there's a good amount of that. Some of this has been developed since this map was done in 2017. So I think if the map were updated, we might have a little less red going on thanks to development. Castle Pines, there's Castle Rock, Perry Park and Larkspur. So Castle Rock and Castle Pines both do have a lot of trees. People love this area because of the terrain and the look of it. So I'm going to go back and forth between these two so you can get a look at them. There's the Castle Rock, there's Castle Pines. These are along the I-25 corridor. And even with construction, I think these two aren't going to be changing a lot. So I just want you to see and recognize that no matter where you're looking along the Front Range, unless you're right in the smack dab of Denver, we share the same risk as what's going on in Boulder. And the thing to really be watching for is as you're setting up your homeowner's insurance, as you're going through that process in your contract phase, are you getting the coverage you need? And that's the thing that we're really watching over for these folks is, do they have the ability to rebuild? Are they set up in a way that they can turn around and get their insurance claim and jump back into either fixing the home that they had on its location or go out and get another home? And if they don't, I think the community is going to be stepping in and helping where they can. But a lot of times the insurer will recommend that you only have an insurance policy that's for the amount of your loan. And if you only put 5% down on your house, at first that may be sufficient, because if something happens in the first few years of your house, that's going to be fine. But if you put 20% down, 30% down, that's not going to cut it. And then after a few years, especially in this market that we've had, where home prices have gone up 20% in a year, 30% in 2 years, that's not enough. You need to have more coverage than that for your house. And we forget, we get complacent, and nothing like this has ever happened. So it's kind of overwhelming. And we're going to be talking about in this next couple of weeks, when I do the 2022 market update and what I'm expecting, how this is going to be impacting the real estate market too. So stay tuned for that. If y'all have any questions about moving to Denver, living in Denver, fire risk, other questions at all about what's going on here, you know I would love to chat with you. So reach out. You can call, text, email, any way that works for you will work for me. And I will see y'all next week.